have been asking who Dan is. This is Dan.
This is me.
So how long have you been on the farm, Dan?
Oh, I've been here since I was born, so the best part of a lot of 40 years, then some.
And your granddad was here first?
Grandfather was here first. I'm the 5th generation. That's the 6th. So yeah, he's been farming. The family's been farming since the late 1800s. Moved in varying places.
Highclere.
Started off in Highclere. Quite right.
Highclere
Castle.
Highclere Castle.
Yeah.
Downton Abbey.
Yeah. Started as tenants there.
Yeah, started as tenants.
Yeah. Then my grandfather bought some land after his father's tenancy ended, and that was the beginnings. So he bought and sold land in Hampshire, Oxfordshire, Wiltshire, Berkshire, and we finally settled at Rookery here in 1957, I believe, and we've been here ever since. And it was quite different then to how it is now.
Oh yeah, we have some pictures which I'll show you all of what the farm used to look like, and I'm sure you all know what it looks like now if you've been following what we've been doing. So it is a family business, and it has been running for 120, 130 years,
Yeah.
which is pretty impressive. Dan's mum is 77 now, and she wobbles down on her dodgy hip every morning and never misses a day of work. She's always there in the office doing all the paperwork, and Dan's actually still in partner with his mum at the moment. So this whole family business is run with Dan and your mum Hazel.
Yeah, well, she stops me buying more and more tractors sometimes.
Yeah, she's the sensible one. So some people don't actually realise how difficult it is and the challenges farmers face on an everyday basis. So Dan, what kind of things have happened just this week that people would never even realise happen on a farm, and how challenging it is? Because we need farmers for 3 times a day, breakfast, lunch and our dinner.
It's very true.
We're all needed, and everyone's actually connected to agriculture in some sort of way. So what kind of challenges have you faced just this week?
Well, just this week, even just the weather changing. We needed the rain, but we've still got some autumn work to finish off, so the rain, wish we could get it on tapped, don't we? I mean, it'd make life so much easier, wouldn't it? But we can't. So the weather has played its part just this week. We've had grain leaving the farm. There's been an odd issue or two with just slight shy of the 13% protein of the milling wheat.
So your loads have been rejected?
Not rejected, but we've had claims upon them, which is really unfair.
So that means we send it off, we get the we were hoping for the milling premiums on top of our wheat, but because it hasn't met 13% protein, it means your premiums have been deducted, so it affects all your accounts further on. Yes,
so we're receiving less money. Grain which should have left the farm in July as it was being harvested, it's only just been collected. So cash flow from what you expected to be paid in August, for instance, to pay your fertiliser bills, your diesel, your machinery and getting the harvest in, is only just now starting to come in. So that was 3 months late.
All my lecturers, I've been taught one thing: cash is king.
Cash is always king. Cash is king. And if it's not in the bank, A, you can't spend it, but B, it makes it incredibly difficult to pay all your bills.
Well, I think at the moment, prices might be the same because inputs are really high, but also market prices can be high, but we're all just dealing with a higher amount of money.
A higher amount, that's the problem. So the risk is bigger, isn't it? The risk is now becoming enormous because you're investing that £600-700 or £800 a tonne in fertiliser for next season.
Even the machinery, how much is your combine?
It's 450,000 to buy another one, and you can't just buy another one. So the stretch is on finances. So watching interest rates rise when we've got machinery on finance, for example, some mortgage on some land, things like that, where we've expanded the farm and bought land. Yeah, that's all going to tell. It's going to hit the, hit the lines. It's going to hit the bottom line. Some of this is part of the rocky road, and some of it is just running a business. But we deal with a lot of unknowns. Yes, we can lock into future markets. That can help. But we've got to make sure we've got product to sell. We can sell some grain forward for next August and lock into a reasonably okay price. It's not as good as it should be.
But you might lock into a price and then you actually get to next August and the prices are £50 higher. Or they could be £50 lower.
And that has happened.
Do you take the gamble of sticking to the set price, or do you risk it and hope for a bit more, or do you risk it and hope for less?
Well, 15 years ago, I remember selling wheat below £100 a tonne, loading a lorry, the 2 lorries. One on one day was below £100 a tonne. The next truck come in where I'd sold it slightly, it was £200 a tonne.
That was 2008.
I think it was 2008. And that is unprecedented. And people say, oh, it's unprecedented what we're seeing now. We saw reasonable prices last year. But of course, who could foresee the trouble with Ukraine, with Putin in there, causing a massive trouble? You know, all it's done is push up all the fuel prices, and the fuel brings everything to everybody because everything arrives on a lorry. Doesn't matter what walk of life you're in, everything has arrived on a lorry. Everything in your house, everything to your business arrives and departs by a lorry.
Well, I recently went to Southampton ports, the docks, and all these massive containers, not just food, or there's refrigerated ones for food, but thousands of lorries in and out all day, every day,
and
just
most people
via containers.
Yeah, most people won't realise that most lorries do less than 10 to the gallon because they're bringing a huge weight behind them, aren't they? So most of them just don't do 10 miles to a gallon of fuel, and a gallon of fuel's nearly £9–10 now, or whatever it is, £8 I suppose. You know, it's big money. And the same as the tractors gathering it in. You know, this red diesel's now crept back up again to £1.10, £1.20 a litre.
I think last time we spoke it was about £1. So
yeah,
now it's
it just dipped below £1 at the end of August, beginning of September, so we'd already done the harvest.
I see it with my truck now, so
Costs a lot for that.
Hungry
Yeah.
for fuel.
You pull into the petrol station to fill up, it's always 3 figures when you pull in with a, you know, a work vehicle. Recall helping me with the combine?
I do recall that story.
Do you?
Are you going to share that story?
Well, you could tell it.
It
Or
was,
I could tell it.
You
tell it. No, you tell it.
Well, we'll
You're
fill
good.
in. It was about
I'll tell you what was wrong with the story.
9 o'clock at night, and this combine was breaking down and breaking down and breaking down. And I don't know why you didn't give up. We all didn't give up, and we still carried on. And it blocked up because
we had a bit of a bulldozing thing. We had a load of soil